Hi there, my name's Joe. This is my channel. This is obviously my first video. Look, just a little bit about myself. I'm 27 and I'm a sports fanatic. So we're here today. We're going to speak about football, boxing. I like horse racing. We'll speak about fantasy football. I'm not very good at it, but it's just a conversation for people to get involved with, really. So obviously today we've got the start of the Euros. We've got a month long of football from the 11th of June to the 11th of July. Got 3 games down for the next 2 weeks. So let's have a look at it. So my personal opinion, I think France will win the tournament. I think they've got so much strength in depth. You've got Mbappe, Griezmann, Pogba, Kante's in the form of his life. They've just brought Benzema back. And if you just look at the people that haven't taken with them, like look at the defenders for the under-21s. You've got Kanate, who's just signed for Liverpool, Upamecano, who's just gone to Bayern Munich. There's a lot of strength in depth there. Portugal have obviously got a good squad. They've got Ronaldo, Bruno. They've got Diaz, who's just got PFA player of the not PFA player of the year, Football Writers Player of the Year. Had a fantastic season at Man City, obviously winning the Premier League and the League Cup, and obviously getting them to a Champions League final. They've also got João Felix, who I'd like to take a look at. And then Jota obviously went to Liverpool. Was very unlucky with injuries, but he had a very very good season. And then obviously you've got England, who are favourites, second favourites in the betting market. I believe they are. Let's have a look. What are they? I think it's 11-2. What's England? So England are 11-2. France are favourites at 9-2. You've got Belgium at 6-1. Spain at 15-2, but obviously they've had like a big COVID outbreak at the moment. Obviously Luis Enrique's got a second squad. They're on standby just in case if anything else goes wrong. Having already lost Sergio Busquets and Diego Llorente to COVID. Germany at 8, don't really see them doing anything, to be honest. Obviously with Joachim Löw leaving after the tournament and Hansi Flick coming in to take over. You've then got Italy who could be dark horses in this. Obviously they play Turkey tonight in the first game in the Stadio Olimpico in Rome. So I mean Italy I've got quite a few decent little players. Obviously you've got Ciro Immobile, the Lazio striker, scored 36 goals last season. You've also got a guy called Barella who plays for Inter Milan. A friend of mine who watches a lot of Serie A, and he says that he's very very good. So you've also got Donnarumma obviously in goal, just signed for PSG. You've got the fullback from Florenzi, very fast fullback. You've still got Chiellini obviously there. So Italy could have a very good tournament. But obviously going back to England, I think it's a lot different to the 2018 World Cup in the fact that we had a manager in Big Sam, obviously didn't go to plan. Then we got Southgate in as a caretaker. Then Willie Wooty, and then obviously he got the job. There was obviously no pressure because at the time I think we had one world class player, which was obviously Harry Kane, and it was okay to then play 5 at the back because our defence wasn't fantastic with Trippier, Walker at centre back, with Stones, Maguire, and Ashley Young obviously at left wing back. But I think this time around it's a lot different because of obviously the attacking talents that we've now got. Obviously Sterling has since improved since the World Cup, but I've never seen him have a good game for England. You've got Sancho's now emerged. Rashford's very very good. But obviously he's carrying an injury. You've still got Kane, and then you've got the 3 of Mount, Foden, and Grealish. So personally, my personal opinion, I would play a 4-2-3-1. I'd have Rice as a sitting midfielder with Mason Mount as a number 8. I'd have Sancho on the right, Foden on the left, Grealish as a 10, and Harry Kane, obviously, as your out-and-out number 9. What's the point in sitting back? What's the point in playing this 5 at the back system? Because if you play 5 at the back, you're then going to play 2 defensive midfielders, which will probably be... Rice will definitely start every game. It'll either be Henderson or Calvin Phillips. You've got all this talent there. Use it. What's the point? And what's the point in playing Kyle Walker and Luke Shaw at centre back? I mean, the reports of playing a back five with Kyle Walker, John Stones, and Luke Shaw. If you're going to play full-backs as a centre-back, then what's the point in taking your Ben Whites? What's the point in taking your Conor Codys, who comfortably play in a system that operates with wing-backs at Brighton and at Wolves? Obviously, I personally wouldn't play Tyrone Mings. I think he was absolutely terrible in the last 2 games. He's like a car crash, basically. He's very erratic when it comes to defending. Like, he jumps out the line a lot, and you only have to see it in the last game where he clotheslined someone, basically. It's the wrong spot. It's not WWE. So obviously we'll start off with tonight. I think Italy should beat Turkey. Although Turkey have got some very good players. Obviously they've got Hakan Çalhanoğlu, if I've said that right. And the guy AC Milan, the free kick specialist. And then you've got the guy called Yilmaz, who went to Lille last season. And obviously Lille have just won League One, obviously beating Paris. But I expect Italy to win that one 1 to 2-0. Maybe 2-1 if Yilmaz scores. And then obviously tomorrow you've got Wales and Switzerland. Obviously with Ryan Giggs not being there, I think, and you've obviously got an assistant taking charge, it could work one or two ways. It could either absolutely bomb, or it could work in their favour, as obviously there's no pressure on. But I do think Switzerland will be a little bit too strong for them. Then you go into the game of Denmark. So obviously Denmark, really, nobody really knows much about them. I mean, you've got Kasper Schmeichel, you've got Simon Kjær, the defender, and then obviously you've got Christian Eriksen, who was very good at Tottenham. Obviously he was going to leave Inter Milan last season, then Conte finally put him in the team, and it worked quite well for him. Against Finland, who I've drawn in the sweepstake at work. But, I mean, I can only name Teemu Pukki. So Finland obviously go to the first international tournament. And then you've got Belgium. I haven't even spoken about Belgium. Belgium obviously will be up there. You've got Lukaku, who's absolutely banging form. Had just a fantastic season last season at Inter Milan. Scored tons of goals. You've got KDB, best midfielder in the world. You've still got Alderweireld kicking about. Hazard, can he do it again? Is he fit? You've got Dries Mertens. Youri Tielemans won the FA Cup with Leicester. Obviously, they was unlucky to miss out on the top 4. Choked again for the second season. But he could obviously end up with a move. Belgium should beat Russia 3 or 4. And then obviously you've got the big one on Sunday. You've got England against Croatia. I think that's one is the tricky one, because it all depends on whether Maguire's fit. If Maguire's fit, I think you play him, and I'd play the 4 at the back. If Maguire's not fit, you're going to have to play a 5. But I personally don't agree with that. I just think the attacking talent is that good. You can afford to play. Well, if you score 2, we'll score 3. It's not knockout football yet. But obviously, if Maguire's then not fit for the group stages, if he doesn't play any part in the group stage, I just wouldn't play him in the rest of the tournament, because then it's winner stays on, isn't it? So that's my personal opinion. But I think England will beat Croatia 1-0. Austria-Macedonia, it should be quite an easy victory, obviously, for Austria, because Macedonia won't do anything. It's nice for them to qualify. It's nice to be invited to the party, but they're not really going to compete with everybody. Netherlands, so Holland are quite dark horses. Obviously, you've got Depay, you've got Wijnaldum, you've got De Ligt, Frankie de Jong. So you've got a lot of players there that are looking to prove a point. So we'll see how they do against Ukraine. I think that one will be a score draw. So I'm quite interested to see how Scotland do in this tournament, because they haven't lost in the last 6 games. Obviously, you've got Andy Robertson, one of the best fullbacks in the world. Kieran Tierney, very good player. The interesting one for me, though, is Che Adams. Obviously, Che Adams has changed nationality from England, because you're never going to get a game for England, are you? And he's now played for, changes obviously nationality for Scotland. It could be a dark horse. He could score a couple of goals for Scotland, and maybe could get out of the group in this 3rd place finish. So it's obviously in that group with Group C, in Group C with in Group D with England and Croatia and Czech Republic and Scotland. It should be England and Croatia obviously to get out, and Scotland could quite easily get 3rd. Then obviously you've got Poland, in Group E. So obviously in Poland's group, let me have a look. And then you've got Poland against Slovakia. So Poland should obviously beat them quite comfortably. Obviously they've still got Lewandowski. So Poland should win that one. Then you've got Spain against Sweden, which will obviously be very interesting with the COVID outbreak that's in the Spanish camp at the moment. But I think they'll have enough strength and depth to beat Sweden. And then you've got Hungary against Portugal. Again, Hungary have fallen into the group of death with Portugal, France and Germany. So Portugal should win that one. And then obviously you've got France against Germany. I just think France will be too strong for everybody in that group. I think they'll go through it quite fairly comfortably. I just think they're going to have a little bit too much for the Germans, because I'm not really sure what they're supposed to bring to the table this tournament, if I'm being honest. Like, they've got very good players. I mean, you've got Havertz and you've got Werner who've just won the Champions League, so they'll be on a high, obviously. But there's something that's been off with the Germans. I mean, you've still got fantastic players in there like Toni Kroos, but I don't really see Germany getting out of there. I think like my picks for the tournament to get out of the groups, obviously, I think it'll be Italy and Turkey in Group A. I think it'll be Belgium and Denmark in Group B, the favourites. I think it'll be the Netherlands and Austria in Group C. England and Croatia in Group D. I think it'll be Spain and Poland to get out of Group E. And then obviously in Group F, it's basically a pick'em. I think it'll be France, and then it's a toss-up then between Portugal and Germany. But I'm slightly edging towards Portugal, obviously, just because of they are the current holders. But I mean, last time they I think they won it and they didn't win a game in the group stage. They got through it on that third place, which I'm not sure really anybody actually knows how it works in regards to like the third place playoff. But I mean, for me, I think France will win it. I think Jack Grealish is going to have an outstanding tournament. I think Jack Grealish is an outside chance to be player of the tournament, only if he plays as a 10. If he plays as a 10 and he gets on the ball and make things happen. So it obviously does draw in a lot of fouls. There is obviously the argument we haven't got a specialist set piece taker. That's why the argument for James Ward-Prowse was there to go. But in my opinion, the thing with Ward-Prowse of not going, was he going to start? Like, they're talking about people coming on to change the games. Ward-Prowse is a very good set piece taker, but it's not really a game changer. Like, the strength in depth that England are going to have is the game changes. Southgate will leave people like Sancho, Sterling, Rashford, Grealish, Foden. Two of them are going to be on that bench. They're what you need to come on. They are the ones that are going to change the game, not a midfield that passes it sideways and backwards but can bang a free kick in. If you're not going to start him, there's no real argument for him to go. So I'm quite excited for it. I think Harry Kane will win the Golden Boot. I think obviously England's got a very easy group. He'll probably get 4 in the group stage. He'll score against Croatia, probably get 2 against Scotland, and then he'll get 1 against the Czechs, and then obviously be subbed for the later rounds. So then that's obviously the top today for the Euros, and then obviously tomorrow night we've got the boxing on Sky Sports, the last card in Newcastle. So you've got, obviously, it's headlined by Lewis Ritson. So I'm a big fan of Lewis Ritson. It was very. I think the thing is, his last fight against Vasquez, it was just very, very bad judging. So it's like, yeah, he got the decision when he shouldn't have, but obviously that's not his fault really. And it's like, I'm reading all this stuff about him getting like all these terrible DMs and things like that, and I just think it's not really fair, is it? It's like, it's not his fault. You've got Alan the Savage Babic, who, as a boxer, technically he's not brilliant, but he's entertaining. So basically, he's what you want to see, to be honest. Comes forward as a go, puts bums on seat basically, and then you've obviously got Joe Laws. Obviously he's from Newcastle. He'll get the place bouncing. The 1,000 people in there. It's quite nice now to see actually people back at sporting events. So I watched the Queensbury promotions card last week in Telford, I think, Obviously, you had like Tommy Fury on there. It was nice to see him face somebody that actually went in there to actually have a go, basically, in Jordan Grant. That was quite good. It was just nice to see the fans back, especially like Nathan Heaney. 1,000 people there, and I think he sold 600 tickets. And then I've seen like videos of him circulating on Twitter and other social medias of like all these coaches that he's taken, and he actually goes on every coach and like thanks people for support, like stuff like that. To stay connected with your fans, I think it's very good to be a sportsman like that. And then obviously you've got Daniel Dubois. It was nice for him to come back, obviously after the beating he'd taken off Joe Joyce. It was very good. Joe Joyce is very, very, very underrated. Obviously he's a Olympic silver medalist. He will challenge for a world title, but I don't think he's got enough to beat Fury or Joshua. But yeah, he'll be there or thereabouts. But yeah, Dubois, it was nice to see him come back. Obviously, he's still young, he can still come back, and he will end up being a world champion, obviously, in 5 years, I imagine, once Fury and Joshua are out the game. But yeah, so good weekend of sport, and thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.